The train stops. Not at a station. In the middle of the tunnel. The lights flicker once, then drop to emergency dim. Red glow. Somewhere ahead, nothing. Somewhere behind, nothing. You check your phone, no signal. You can hear the breathing of the people around you getting heavier. A kid starts crying 2 rows back. Someone stands up, looks toward the front of the car, then slowly sits back down. The intercom crackles, static. Then silence. And somewhere above you, 6 stories up, through concrete and steel and a century of sediment, 8 million people have no idea this is just the beginning. New York City's subway is the circulatory system of the most dense urban environment in the United States. 5 million rides every single day, 472 stations, 700 miles of track, threading beneath a city that never stops moving. Now, imagine all of it. Stops, not a signal delay, not a weekend shutdown for maintenance, not a single line going down. All of it, every train, every tunnel, every platform, gone quiet, for 7 days. It's a Monday morning in October, cold but clear, the kind of fall day New York does better than anywhere else. You're on the A train heading downtown, coffee in hand, headphones in. The car is packed. Commuters, students, delivery workers, a woman with a stroller folded sideways against the door. Normal. Above ground, the city is already moving. Taxis cutting across 8th Avenue, food carts steaming on corners, office buildings filling floor by floor. The subway doesn't feel like infrastructure when it's working. It feels like breathing, automatic, invisible. You don't think about the pumps keeping the tunnels dry, the power substations feeding third rails with 600 volts, the signal systems routing 24 lines through a grid built before your grandparents were born. You just get on, you ride, you get off. That's the deal the city made with itself 120 years ago. Today, that deal breaks. The train stops between 59th and 42nd Street. No announcement, just deceleration, then stillness. You pull out one earbud, look around. Other passengers are doing the same. The universal gesture of mild irritation that says this happens, it'll move in a minute. It doesn't move in a minute. 5 minutes pass. The intercom crackles with something unintelligible. A man near the door checks his phone, shakes his head. No signal. 10 minutes. Then the lights in the tunnel outside the window go out. Not dim, out. And somewhere in the distance, faint but unmistakable, you hear the same thing happening on another track, another train, stopping. By the time the MTA issues its first official statement, 400,000 people are already underground with no way out. The statement doesn't say when service will resume. It says, "We are assessing the situation." If you've ever been on a subway that stopped and felt that quiet spike of dread, this is what happens when it never starts again. Subscribe, because this one goes deep. The cause isn't a single failure. It never is. A power surge in a Brooklyn substation takes out the signal system across 4 lines. In the process of rerouting power, a secondary failure cascades through the network. The automated safety protocols, designed to prevent electrical fires, shut down sections of the third rail across Manhattan, Queens, and the Bronx. Within 40 minutes, the MTA makes a decision that will define the next 7 days. Full system suspension, controlled shutdown, every train held in place or rerouted to the nearest station until engineers can assess the damage and guarantee passenger safety. It sounds reasonable in a press conference. On the ground, it looks like this. 472 stations, simultaneously filling with confused, increasingly anxious people. Station agents overwhelmed, exits blocked by crowds moving in both directions. No centralized communication, no clear instructions. People start walking up emergency stairs they've never used before. You shout into a city that has no idea what just arrived at street level. Here's what people outside New York don't fully understand. The subway isn't just how New Yorkers get around, it's how the city functions at all. Think about what 5 million daily rides actually means. It means the hospital in Upper Manhattan can staff its morning shift. It means the restaurant in the West Village gets its kitchen crew. It means the school in the South Bronx gets its teachers. It means the financial district gets its traders, its analysts, its assistants, its cleaning crews. New York's density only works because the subway compresses distance. A city built for 8 million people occupies roughly 300 square miles. Without the subway, that geography becomes an obstacle. Buses exist, but the entire bus network combined moves fewer than 2 million people a day. And it depends on streets that are about to become completely dysfunctional. Taxis exist, ride shares exist, but there aren't enough of them, not even close. Within 2 hours of the shutdown, every surface route in Manhattan is gridlocked. The streets weren't designed to absorb 5 million displaced commuters. The city doesn't slow down, it seizes. By Tuesday, day 2, the MTA holds a press conference. The damage to the signal infrastructure is more extensive than initially assessed. Repairs require physical access to sections of tunnel that can't be safely entered while the system is partially energized. Full restoration will require a complete diagnostic across the network. Estimated timeline, 5 to 7 days, the room goes quiet. A reporter asks if the city has a contingency plan for a week-long subway outage. The answer is, technically, yes. There are emergency protocols, bus bridges, coordination with the NYPD for traffic management, agreements with ferry operators. What the answer doesn't say, what no one at that podium says out loud, is that those protocols were designed for localized outages. A few stations, a single line. Not this scale, not 7 days, not the entire system simultaneously. Because a contingency plan that's never been stress tested against the actual emergency isn't really a plan, it's a document. By Wednesday, the surface transportation system is beyond overwhelmed. Emergency bus bridges are running, but they're moving at walking pace through gridlocked streets. A crosstown bus that normally takes 12 minutes is taking over an hour. Some routes have stopped entirely. Drivers can't complete their loops because the traffic doesn't move. City bike checkouts hit a record single-day number on Tuesday. By Wednesday afternoon, most docks are empty, and the redistribution trucks can't get through traffic to refill them. Ferries are packed to legal capacity within minutes of departure. Lines at Pier 11 stretch 4 blocks. People are waiting 2-3 hours for a crossing that takes 8 minutes. Essential workers are the ones feeling it most immediately. Nurses, home health aides, sanitation workers, grocery stockers, people who can't work from home, people whose shifts started at 5 a.m., people who don't have the option of waiting it out. Hospitals are managing. But staff absenteeism climbs each day. Not because people don't want to come in, because the commute that used to take 40 minutes now takes 3 hours each way. Some workers start sleeping at their jobs because going home isn't worth it. By Thursday, the city's social fabric is showing its seams. The people hit hardest aren't the ones working from penthouse apartments in Midtown. They're the ones who built their entire lives around a $2.90 fare. The home health aide who travels from East New York to the Upper East Side every morning. The dialysis patient in the Bronx whose treatment center is 4 subway stops away. Stops that now require a 2-hour surface journey she physically cannot make. The single parent in Jackson Heights whose childcare is on one side of Queens and whose job is in Lower Manhattan. These aren't edge cases. These are millions of people. By day 4, social services report a significant increase in missed medical appointments. Food pantries in outer boroughs are struggling with volunteer shortages. Their volunteers can't get there. And then, on Friday morning, something shifts. It's not a riot, it's not chaos. It's quieter than that, and somehow more unsettling. People stop trying. The city that never stops trying to move. And in that stillness, you realize a city that can't circulate isn't really a city anymore. The numbers come later. They always do. Economists estimate that a 7-day subway shutdown cost New York City somewhere between $9 and $14 billion in lost economic activity. That figure includes lost wages, closed businesses, disrupted supply chains, and reduced tax revenue. But the number that doesn't make it into the reports is smaller and more personal. The restaurant in Chelsea that runs on thin margins and can't open because half its staff can't get in. The dry cleaner in Astoria that's been on the same corner for 22 years and watches its week evaporate. The freelancer who misses 3 client meetings and loses contracts that won't come back. Small businesses don't have contingency reserves for a week of no customers, some close temporarily. A percentage of those never reopen. The city's economy is interconnected in ways that are easy to celebrate when everything works and devastating when something this central breaks. Saturday evening, day 6. You're walking across the Manhattan Bridge because it's faster than waiting for anything with wheels. The bridge is full of people doing the same thing. New walkers, cyclists, a few people pushing carts. The skyline is lit. Power never went out, only the trains. And the reflection on the East River is almost beautiful. No one's talking much. There's a particular kind of quiet that settles over a city when one of its fundamental rhythms stops. It's not peaceful. It's the quiet of 8 million people adjusting, straining, recalculating every day from scratch. You look at the skyline, the city looks exactly the same as it always does. But it doesn't feel the same. It feels like something that was taken for granted is now, for the first time, visible. The MTA's infrastructure has sections that are genuinely over a century old. Signal systems in parts of the network still run on relay technology from the mid-20th century. When one component fails in an aging, deeply interconnected system, the cascade potential is real. Modern communication-based train control, CBTC, has been installed on some lines. It's faster, more reliable, more resilient. But full network conversion has been delayed for decades. The cost is enormous. The political will is inconsistent. Redundancy matters, not just in signals, but in power supply. Multiple independent feed points rather than substations that share vulnerability. Contingency infrastructure matters too. Ferry capacity that can actually scale, bus networks that aren't dependent on the same congested streets, emergency communication systems that reach every platform without relying on cell service. None of this is impossible. Other transit systems around the world have done it. It requires sustained investment and a willingness to treat infrastructure as the urgent priority it actually is. On Sunday morning, day 7, the first trains move, not everywhere, slowly. A few lines restored, others still suspended, but the platforms fill again. People ride in silence, watching the tunnel walls go past, not quite believing it's over. You get on at your normal stop, take your normal seat. The car fills around you. Someone sets down their bag. Exhales. The train moves. And for just a moment, before the headphones go back in, before the phone comes back out, before the city reabsorbs everyone into its rhythm, you feel it. The weight of what the city just learned. That the thing underneath all of this, the thing that makes the density possible, the thing that makes New York actually work, it's not permanent, or it's maintained every single day. The trains are running again today. The platforms are full. The turnstiles are spinning. The city is moving. But somewhere in the back of your mind, the next time you descend those stairs and wait on that platform, you'll think about it. What holds this together? How thin that margin actually is? If this changed how you see the infrastructure underneath your city, drop a comment. And if you want more stories about the systems we never think about until they fail, you know where to subscribe.